like I grew up with that kind of like, I just don't want to wear the same thing as my friend. Even my wife, I say I don't want to wear the same thing as you.
Oh, yeah. I always say I want to wear the same thing as you.
Whenever Kelly comes out in the same t-shirt, then I will just take out my shirt and change, bro.
For me, it's different. I see Rach, she wearing that shirt, then I wear the same one. Then she will like, stop it!
Not cringe, man.
Hey guys, and welcome to another episode of the IRL Podcast. Here we talk to people who run and own businesses, and we dive deep into what it really takes to make it all work. So no fluff, no sugarcoating, just real honest conversations. And today we have the legendary almost athlete Clarence.
Almost athlete. Legendary almost athlete. I love that.
I mean, that's your.
It's like you're almost a legend, but still not there.
Is it closer? Then we can see you. Yeah.
Alright.
Cool, man.
Yeah.
So actually, what do you do, Clarence? I mean, you do run Fitstop. So
Yes.
Clarence runs Fitstop. He owns Almost Athlete, the
Yes.
brand.
Yeah.
And what else do you do?
Well, actually, that's almost it. I think my main stuff that I do these days is to run Fitstop. So I'm the owner or the co-owner of Fitstop Downtown and Fitstop Holland Village. We're also the guys that brought down the brand Fitstop from Australia. Fitstop is a franchise brand, sort of like what you like your F45, your BFT, your Revel. We are also one of them. They comes from the same place, Australia, and the format and the system is pretty much a group class where you can work out with your friends, do exercises together, and in fun and interesting formats lah.
Actually, all the F45, BFT, and Fitstop and all Revel also, do they know each other? Actually, the founders.
So Revel and Fitstop are from Queensland.
Okay.
So they are like cousins. They sort of started around the same period by different owners, starting at different starting point. So correct me if I'm wrong, and I'm not overly sure, but I think Revel started more with like a CrossFit kind of background. Fitstop started more with like a functional PT kind of background. But they kind of converged in terms of like when they saw the success of like BFT and F45. That there is a market where it's a bit more advanced, not just for fun, meaning like for F45, a lot of the exercises back then that day was like for fun. Like, you do 20 exercises, right? And they may not link to each other, but they are still challenging enough to give you sort of a good
I
stimulus.
heard last time F45 is they just press a button, then it will like roll all the.
I was a head coach at F45, so So essentially, it's a very good franchise model. It says that like here, like you just press button on it, everything just rolls out. Then you don't really have to think much. Your coaches spend their time interacting and building the community, right? And I think that's something that you take one of the biggest part, but also the easiest part to do, but most time consuming, out of a gym business and into something that everyday person with like some sort of knowledge in fitness can be able to run successfully, right? I think that's where the synthesis, the start of all these like franchise business start to realize that actually it's quite an easy way to sell to people because it's everyday person, you don't have to be subject matter expert, can actually run it properly.
Which brings me to what I was like trying to understand. How did you even choose to bring Fitstop and how?
It's a long story, bro.
What's the journey like? Because before this you weren't really doing fitness, right?
I guess I'm one of those millennials like you lah, halfway through, don't know what they want to do in life. And I was public servant in LTA, but sort of related that.
So the LTA no 24-hour service.
No 24 hours.
Just kidding. You're saying?
LTA I was doing cycling policy actually. So all your cycling pass, your rules and regulations for cycling, they all came from my department lah.
Do you ban the PMD?
I was an advocate for not banning PMD. I fought quite hard to defend the PMD riders. But they did not help me lah.
Yeah.
They made my job impossibly hard, bro. Every day we had to deal with like, somebody banging into some old lady.
Yeah. That's the straw that broke the camel's back, right?
Then the news report, then my CEO come to us like, hey, how to promote like that, you know?
True.
People not even happy, or the people whom we are supposed to be providing the service don't even think it's a good thing to have it for, right? So that was one of the straw that broke the camel's back. The other straw was I'm not sure you remember OFO. All your cycling.
Yes.
Cycling. The story is very funny. Is that I remember the LTA back then. We were trying to promote bike sharing.
Yeah.
And this was a very new concept by LTA, and I think the initial plan was to make it government owned, sort of like in Taiwan. I mean, I'm not sure if you guys been to Taiwan, where you go to any MRT station, you have the
London
docks.
has it also.
London has it. You have the docks. Copenhagen has it. You have those docks where you can just park your bike there. It's government owned. I'm not sure it's government, but it's privately. It's owned by somebody, and they manage from there, right? But it's fixed docks, meaning you have to return, and you have to take and return at specific locations, right? Then one random day, like this person called us and said, hey, do you guys have regulations on bike sharing in Singapore?
Okay.
So this was really in the middle of our tender period. And we're like, we are in a bit working in it. They say, so now don't have lah. Next month, I think like 5,000 bikes, OFO bikes just imported into Singapore. And then that was the beginning of the end of bike sharing projects in Singapore.
But why was it so bad?
It's okay. It's a balance, right? I think in Singapore we are very much a control state. We like things to be orderly and controlled. When it goes too messy, your government panics and we're like, oh my god, like it's all over, but you cannot control it.
Now also, now all the other bikes.
Yeah, but it's not at the same scale, dude. Can you imagine? We had 5,000 OFO bikes coming to Singapore every month.
Every month.
Their numbers may not be exact, but basically a large number of bikes coming in every month, and then there were no regulations on it, so they don't have to fulfill any. They can just put anywhere they want. Nobody controls them.
Okay.
We didn't have any rules to protect.
So there was no like sector that you have to park your bike.
No, back then it was a cowboy land, bro. Everything was.
Yeah, I remember everywhere.
You can put it under the void deck. You can put it outside your house. You can bring it home. Like, I mean, nobody truly regulates it. So I think from that point of view, the government say, okay, forget this shit, right? Let's not do it. Let's just spend the time and money to regulate rather than to build the infrastructure. I think from that point onwards, where you don't no longer decide that infrastructure is what you want to do, it becomes a regulatory like body, and it's no longer about promoting it, right? And then once you're no longer about promoting it, that's where you go downhill, right? The government's cracking down and taking rights away from companies, from people, rather than empowering people to decide and to make it a more vibrant community. Yeah.
And then how did it? I remember one time it was completely gone, and then now it's like back again with like Hello, which is China company, and then Anyway, I think Anyway is Singaporean, right?
Yeah. I think the issue. I mean, I don't want to speak out of hand here, but like the issue is really like finding the balance, right? So when you get nervous and worried, you just go to the extreme end of policy making, which is that complete ban, or like, let's make it so damn difficult for these companies to operate here that they don't want to operate here anymore, right? So then you go to that one extreme end of like doing things, then after that you realize that, actually, there are benefits to having these things around, and you remember like, we were once trying to promote cycling in Singapore, and then you start to rein back regulations, you rein back whatever like rules you make, and then so you find a balance, and I think that's policy making in Singapore,
But what are your thoughts on the current system now?
I don't want to think about it, bro. I got PTSD. But I truly believe, because I lived in the Netherlands for 6 months, and I truly believe in public transportation being bicycles. I think it is possible, and I think it's good for society. I think that it works.
Okay, because of the health part.
Not only health, but like it's a much easier, convenient way to move around. So for me, right, I'm a kind of person that I don't like to. I don't like the idea of driving. I like to walk around. So I travel. Just now I walk here lah.
I walk here.
No. I actually took the bus. I dropped at Raffles Hotel there.
Okay.
I just walk out.
Yeah.
But I enjoy walking. I feel like there's a lot of value in like active mobility, and that's why I joined this department in the first place. Because I believe that active mobility is something that people should do lah, right? And I think that's how I got into the whole fitness and lifestyle space, because I was thinking a lot about what kind of lifestyle and healthy lifestyle do I want to have for myself. Yeah, and that's where I kind of like after LTA I kind of made the switch into a more start to transition into a more healthier lifestyle.
What made you like throw your paper? What made you quit LTA?
To be very honest,
Yeah.
I was an oddball in government. Like I was a sociology major with very little background in engineering, with no background in planning and everything. So my role in LTA was more of like a people person.
Okay.
So I was there to find out what your interest groups like, what your public was talking about these policies, and being in LTA, which is a regulatory body of Singapore, and then you have somebody here who's like, oh, let's advocate for things and let's like make things. It made me stand out as the oddball. Yeah.
But I need it in any. I think like the government needs that, right?
I also think so.
Yeah.
But eventually I realized that my strengths weren't fully utilized.
Okay.
I could really benefit, or like I do the kind of things that I was thinking about would probably suit somewhere where we are more, like I said, we're in LTA it's more regulatory. I could be a more engagement and more promotion kind of like advocate, which is why I moved to SIF, Singapore International Foundation, before I actually moved out of government company.
What does SIF do?
SIF is like it's a government agency that focuses on selling Singapore and to overseas countries. So basically talking about and promoting Singaporeans overseas so that people would think better for us.
The branding.
Yeah, the branding. It's like a branding arm of Singapore. So you put us to go in there to help the poor, help the hospital develop the stuff so that when businesses come in, they don't already have any resistance from the public sector or from the public in terms of coming in.
And then after that, you decided that, okay, fitness is my goal. But when you were at SIF, were you already teaching at F45?
I was already teaching at F45, and I was gonna go do my masters in development studies, because I was quite interested in help developing. So I was still very altruistic lah. Then after COVID hit, then I was like, you know what? Let's just use this money to start my own brand lah.
So when you started your brand, you was like, that's how you started AAC, is it?
Yes, that's how I started. That's where I started exploring the idea of opening a business lah. And I think Almost Athlete was sort of like my first entry into finding out what it takes to run a business, right? I guess similar to you, who is also an entrepreneur, that first step is difficult.
Yeah, it's difficult. Yeah.
You need quite a lot. Yeah.
And you were doing it during the COVID.
No, I was conceptualizing during COVID. I think it was about maybe 6 months after COVID. Then I was like, okay, I kind of want to do my own thing lah. Yeah. But by then I was really kind of all into fitness. I decided to quit my SIF job and join F45 as a full-time coach. And then I was also doing personal training for people. And
now you're a celebrities coach.
Who's a celebrity?
So many. Right?
No, I actually don't do PTs much these days. And I feel like PT is good as a way to learn and start up, but it's also not a good model to scale.
Yes,
because your time translates directly into how much money you can make. right? So I want to go overseas. So the biggest problem that I quarrel a lot, not quarrel, but I discuss a lot with like Kelly and my wife, and it's like, oh, I want to go holiday. She want to go holiday, but I'm like, I can't. If I go holiday, I lose 2 times the money. I pay money and then I don't earn money. Yeah. So it was a very tough start when you do PT. But there is value because you get to problem solve one person directly and interact and find out exactly what this person needs, and you crack your brain to try to solve that issue or help this person improve that, right? Yeah.
How's the apparel business? I mean, I run apparel also.
Why don't you tell me how's the apparel business?
Right? Yeah. I mean, my own take is that Singapore is very very small market.
Yes.
And then it's really quite difficult to if you don't have your margins calculated well, you kind of like overestimate how many you can sell, and then you'll suffer lah.
Yeah.
I mean, you see like some of the brands, some of them closed down, it's quite hard. But how is it for you? I think yours is like amazing. It's like because you built your brand so strong that
it's okay lah. It's okay. Like I feel like I started off AAC not as a merch or like product. I started more as a creative exercise for myself.
Okay.
Because I was always interested in photography. I've been doing it for many years. But the one thing that I didn't have as a photographer was a ready access to a subject.
I see.
Right? You wanna take picture. Then you like ask your friend also weird. It's like, can I take picture? It's like, why you
take picture?
But if I tell my friend, hey, can you wear my shirt? Then I take picture. Then it's like, oh, okay, sure. Yeah. So there's like, I thought like, okay, it was a good opportunity for me to continue being creative and taking photos of people if like there was a subject for them to, or like something for them to use, right?
Yeah.
And I think that's where I started from. So from the get-go, it was more like a branding exercise for me rather than a merch kind of thing. To be very honest, I don't make much out of AC, and like exactly like you said, because it requires mathematics in terms of like what is the X number of product do I need to buy so that I make money and don't lose money,
exactly.
but I still minimize my risk.
Yes.
Right. And I think that equation is difficult when you're playing with very small margins, right? When your market is small, you sell the difference between selling 150 and 100 is 30%, correct? And I think that when you first start out is a big deal. It's challenging.
And I think also there are so many like competitors in the same market,
correct?
Like similar things. And then not having, other than design, of course. But other than design, if you play technical with them, then you cannot play really. Cause like all the big brands, Lulu and all that, will have like the higher technical with higher economies of scale, right? That they can squeeze you. So your margins, I feel like, become very small unless you have like very strong branding.
Yes, correct. Yeah. How actually do you guys still run gyms like this?
Yeah.
How's it been for you guys? Because I mean, GSA has been around for what, 5-6 years. It's one of the main starting brands like doing this kind of activewear, right?
Yeah, but I mean, we there was a pause at some point. I mean, we took over, we joined Jermaine at some point. But I think during that period of hiatus was where if they didn't stop, I think it could have been where the goal was made.
Right.
But now it's really super saturated. There are like one of our other acquaintances, they also have another brand that also just recently closed down.
Right.
So yeah, it's really a quite a difficult market, especially if you want to play price.
Yeah.
And when you play price with no like super different kind of
differentiator,
like for you guys, it's like wow, really damn cool designs, right?
Yeah.
But if there's no like angle, I think it's really very very difficult.
Yeah. I guess the difference between now and like maybe 10 years ago is that your suppliers are quite easily accessible. Right? Yeah, and then you go Alibaba, you search activewear.
Anyone can come in there.
And you can have 1,000 different like options to choose from.
And some of them don't even have to like for us, we actually design our pieces and see like what's trending, what is comfortable to wear for rage and germs, right? But like nowadays, if you go on Alibaba, you search, it's like all the designs there, and some people they just don't even care. They're like, I just want like 100 pieces of this, right? And then they flood the market. Then you have all the very cheap TikTok shop type,
then you have Shein
stuff, and you have Shein, and it does. It is quite a difficult market, lah.
How will you, I guess, in a way, do it differently then?
I think the price point would have been much higher because there's as with like all this kind of like apparel stuff, there's always like good material and bad material and like good workmanship and bad workmanship. And I think our workmanship is really very good. But I think when we priced and when the brand was launched, it was launched too low. So the margins become very difficult. So like when you don't project your sizing properly and the amount then you get a lot of like leftovers. Then when the leftovers you want to sell, you have to sell it on sale.
Then it brings the brand down.
And then it brings the brand down. Plus if you use like different channels like TikTok Shop or like other channels that's not your website, you kind of like get cut lah, right? So then end up we start selling at a loss. And then it becomes very painful. It's like you really love the pieces. You really try your best to put your effort to make the pieces. And then end up it's like selling your creativity for
nothing.
For nothing at a loss just to get some money back. I think that's the hard pain part about it lah.
Even Nike makes that mistake.
Exactly.
Like nowadays Nike product is like forever on sale. Everything Nike is on sale.
It's like I want to buy Metcons, right? I'll just pay for it.
For the sale. Who buys Niki at full price now? It's a fool.
Hey.
Sorry, if you want Nike, if you want sponsor, sorry.
AAC. No, I'm kidding.
But I do believe that the market now has changed quite a lot. Like personal creator brands work much better than say not generic but like a brand without a face to it, right? And I think one thing you guys had at the very start was that Rach was always the face of it, and it was like Rachel's brand, and her followers and the people that follow Rachel will all kind of like support Rach in that sense, right? So that I feel like it's even more prominent these days.
And I think it really worked for us with that like personal branding plus like selling something with your personal brand. But I think the funny thing is that we think that we kind of got quite a lot of market share already with like a lot of like traction on social media and all. But somehow the business isn't as sustainable as we thought it would be with that kind of market share.
Actually, now I think back, like one of our, like you guys, we had some collab for Fitstop, and I remember one of our most successful, like most highly engaged posts was the one with you guys at GSA, and then he showed me like, oh, actually, you guys have a lot of pulling power, man. Like you guys brought in quite a lot of like, rather a good variety of like influencers and KOLs that I don't think any other brand can do. I was like, so that kind of like I guess support is really quite unique to GSA lah. But you're right lah, in terms of like anything retail, it's a tough because you bear the risks at the start, right?
And I think selling things in Singapore is generally quite hard. Like things in general, it's like you have to like have a very low MOQ to kind of like service as much as and clear as much stock as possible, or price as high as possible to break even or make a profit.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think that's hard. But it's a wonder that how you guys do it, man. Like always out of stock on your stuff.
No, is it really out of stock?
No, there was a period of time, right? I was wow, AAC, wow, I see everybody wearing AAC. Then I was like, wow, I want to buy. Then like, don't have already. All my size, all don't have already.
To be honest, I think I would say that I was one of the first few people that thought of activewear as not just your singlet and tank top. It's streetwear right? And like there was inspiration from like the working out with the common ground guys who was a bit more creative, and when they sold activewear on their own merch, it was not like your last time like dry fit or whatever. Everyone wears dry fit. Everyone wears that your singlet and everything to work out. I think that's when I realized that actually it's streetwear lah. You can wear anything to work out as long as you
feel comfortable.
You feel comfortable, right? And so when I first started the first few products for Almost Athlete, I wanted it to be streetwear, and I wanted it to feel like you can wear it to sleep, you can wear it to work out, you can wear it every day. And that I think was I believe I was one of the first few people that started doing it. But nowadays every brand is
every brand is
like you see LSKD, even like your more niche brands like your Satisfy, your running brands, Represent, they all have the same mindset, which is that activewear is not just for the gym, it's for everyday correct wear and everything.
And then it was quite sharp of you to spot that how do you feel like you can spot the next trend?
I wish I could do that. I won't be sitting here, I'll be sitting in my private jet, bro. No, I think like from young I always enjoy like I don't know, like how I didn't want to be the same as everybody. Since young I always try to find like what is the thing that like makes it a bit different. For example, I've been wearing crew socks since I was in secondary school.
I can tell.
Yeah, and
every time this guy wearing crew socks into F45, I'm like, what the fuck?
But now everybody wear crew socks already, so maybe I need to change my style a bit.
Maybe you are the trendsetter. You are the trendsetter, right?
Yeah, but it just comes with like I just wanted to be different, like I think like I grew up with that kind of like I just don't want to wear the same thing as my friend. Even my wife, I say I don't want to wear the same thing as you.
I always say I want to wear the same thing as you.
Whenever Kelly comes out in the same t-shirt, then I would just take out my shirt and change, bro.
For me, it's different. I see Rach, she wearing that shirt, then I wear the same one. Then she was like, stop it!
Not cringe, man.
But I'm not cool, ma. It's okay. It's okay.
No, I think it's fine. I just have it's maybe some insecurity I have in my heart about like having to differentiate myself.
No lah.
Maybe from young nobody noticed me, so I feel like I need to make myself be
but I mean it's very different, right? Because for me also, I also don't like to wear what other people wear last time right? Then I try to be cool, but I cannot. It's like how do you pull it off? You know?
I think you no lah, you put yourself down too much, man, dude. Honestly, I think you're a very unique character in this gym space. Really. Like I truly think that in the gym space, the unique characters are what sets you apart, right? Like, for example, you can be a very strong person, but if you got no personality, no one's gonna notice you, no one's gonna...
It's like Yiren lah.
Yeah, correct. But if you're an asshole like Yiren, then it's like, okay. People are like, who this asshole here? What gives you the right to be an asshole? Then you're like, okay lah, he's quite fit lah, But you need that extra...
personal branding.
Correct, you need that personal branding, you need that extra factor. And not necessarily it's sometimes it's as easy as like being an asshole, right? Not to say you're an asshole, bro.
Yeah, it's okay. I know I'm not as asshole as Ira.
But you're a funny guy. And I think that's the funny personality is something that you cannot teach. You just have it or you don't have it,
Thank you.
Yeah.
Thank you. Yeah. Anyway, how did from AAC you decided that hey, let's go and bring Fitstop in?
Right. So I think back then I think when I was thinking of starting a brand, AC was never the main thing lah. I always wanted to start my own gym and I always wanted to start my own brand, and when I decided to leave government or like I didn't just want to be a trainer. I feel like there are some issues with that lah. Like for example, I just like said just now,
Scaling
you can't scale. It's very hard to grow into anything bigger. Plus, you narrow your skill sets to just one skill set, right? Which is just coaching. And I think in life you need to have a variety of skill sets available to you, and that comes with practice, and that comes with like doing something more lah. So, running a business was always something I had in my mind. Like I feel like, first of all, I get to do the things that I enjoy, and also I get to practice the things that I'm not so good at. Right. So I'm not very good at finance. I'm not very good at run or management, right? Because I've always been just a civil servant. I just listen and do, right?
Not just
Yeah. So running a business opened up this new gateway for me to do a variety of things, lah, right? Yeah. So when I left, in my mind I'm like, the only way that I would want to do or go into the gym business would be to run a full gym by itself, right? And there were a few gym concepts that I was thinking about. One of my favorite gyms, Unit 27, was one of them. That was when I was exploring doing something more with Dale and from Phuket, and that's also where I met Ollie. When he opened Revel, I spoke to a whole bunch of people to just try to understand
what's their philosophy.
What's the philosophy, and also like what is it that Singaporeans want, right? Like I mean, at that point of time you were seeing the downfall, like not downfall, the decline of F45, right? And then you have the steady rise of like BFT back then, and then you come in Revel, right, which is not really F45, not really BFT, but it's like a CrossFit, but in a functional setting, right? I think I like that idea a lot, and I was like, yeah, there's this weird in between space, between BFT, beginner like BFT, a more beginner F45, and CrossFit is a bit more like sports focused, really, right? So the in between space, and that's where I realized that like Revel has proven that
there's a market
for it, and me and Ollie also agreed that the market is just ripe for that move, for that shift from people with 1 or 2 years experience of working out, but still want to do functional training but don't want to do CrossFit, right? And so I was exploring a few brands. I think I came across Fitstop when one of my partners shared with me, and to be very honest, my first thought about Fitstop was like, the name not cool.
Actually, now I don't even think about it. I remember when I first saw Fitstop, I'm like, what is this?
What is this? Yeah, Fitstop.
It's like salad stop, right?
Yeah, correct. Like salad stop, and then you Google.
Actually, BFT also is
body
also
fit,
kind of body fit. Yeah, like, huh?
Yeah, correct. So F45 is not F45 is like functional 45.
Okay lah, at least there's like some number.
Correct. Yeah, but my first thought was like F45. If Fitstop, it's like doesn't make me feel excited, right? But I went to Australia to try it out, and I think I met the CEO Pete Hall, and also some of the owners there, and I realized that there is something here lah. There is something here. There is the branding part of it from the community aspect. So they were branding themselves more as like a community builder. You interact with each other, you work out as a team, not just looking at the screen and walking out. You actually had to work in groups of 4, groups of 3 in your workouts, and I think that was something that I was quite sold about because back then, you have to understand it. Back then, it was really quite new Revel had one studio, and Fitstop was going to be the next brand also comes in with that, right? And therefore I decided, okay, let's just try this brand. And I think when we brought in Holland Village, we were very lucky to have a very strong support at the start. We opened with more than 180 members.
Wow, that's crazy.
Yeah, and I think we were all quite surprised, even though we made a mistake.
What mistake?
So we gave 2-week membership.
Yeah.
And then after that, you didn't actually have to complete the 2 weeks to get your 50% off your membership.
Okay.
So for example, if the membership was $69 back then,
Yeah.
You're paying the $34 a week.
Yeah. For 2 weeks?
For a week, right?
Yeah.
But you could just cancel after the first week.
Oh.
So you didn't actually have to complete 2 weeks. So the way it was set up was just a bit like disruptive.
Okay.
So
Yeah.
so that was something to learn from. But essentially we opened up with a very good numbers and we were very happy with how it went. So that's how we decided that okay, we as with anything, you can't stop at one. You need to have some brothers and sisters. So we opened Tanjong Pagar about a few months later, and I think now both studios are quite stable. The numbers have reached a level where we are able to keep it going without much. The retention rate is very high, yeah.
Why do you choose to do a franchise instead of like start doing your own thing? Like, I mean, when I speak to Iran and all, they are like, I want control over like the program, so I don't want a franchise. But why do you choose franchise instead?
Look, honestly, like it all goes back to what you see this thing is, right? Like some people see as an owner, you see yourself as a gym owner, right? Or like you see yourself as a person that runs a gym, right? But I always truly believe that I see this as a business. So with any business, you need to be able to scale, or if not, it's just going to stagnate and you're just going to lose money eventually, right? And one thing that makes gyms very difficult to scale is that you don't have infrastructure or you don't have a program that you can easily take and pull and bring it to many different places, right? So for example, you look at Division or you look at the Singapore grown ones where they try to scale. I think the biggest issue that they do face is quality control, right?
Yes.
The program, you can write it down, but you spend a lot of time trying to decide, will it fit here, will it fit there, or then how do I quality control? How do I make sure it makes sense for that? And in the gym industry, to be very honest, this program is actually a very small part to play in the overall business of it, right? I mean, as a gym owner, it probably means a lot to you, right? Because you're running a gym.
Correct,
You're
the artisan.
You're the artisan, But I see if I can take that and give it to somewhere else, it's the smallest denominator in terms of running a business, and I do the bigger, more important things like community building, like making my members feel engaged, like making sure that the member experience is good. Then I have a lot more room to play. I don't spend all my time just working on the programming itself. So that's why I feel like gym franchises work, because you take the most difficult yet the thing that matters very little in running a gym. Yeah.
And then, but I mean, I always have this thought that like, if you, I don't run a gym, so I have no one to say, but if from a third person perspective, I feel like there's like two routes to go, which is one is the franchise route, and one is the own brand route, right? And to me, I mean, of course, as a customer, I think like the product is very important, right? Yeah. So I was thinking like, if you go to the franchise route, the risk is that what if the HQ or whoever doesn't innovate quickly enough? Then you are kind of like stuck, right?
Correct.
But if you go your own brand, then you have to like really actually put a lot of work into building brand and the product and the community and QC especially.
Correct. Yeah.
Across like your various branches.
Correct.
Right. Yeah. So like, are you ever like scared of the risk from the franchise model, which is like, what if one day the product just like, I don't know, I mean from a customer's perspective of like F45, at some point it just
didn't make sense.
Like why am I holding like long bars of like so like, are you ever scared of that?
Honestly, it's it's definitely something that crosses your mind, right? Because you concede control over what many would say is the bread and butter of the gym, right? Which is the workout, the exercise itself, right? But I that's why I think at the start, I didn't really want to go into and it's not just randomly picking a brand then I just go into it. I believed in Fitstop. I tried it out, and I do feel that there needs to be some sort of trust in the brand, right? Before I went into it.
Yeah.
But essentially, with all business, there's always a risk. Even if I design my own program, one day
you're very tired.
Yeah, one day.
All do burpees.
Correct. Or one day, what if one day for example, one day I just cannot write anymore, right? Or if one day for whatever reason, like I become the risk of the company, right?
Yeah.
So if I die or the company fails because the brain of me making the program is essentially the product, correct? So I become the risk.
Yeah.
So there's no difference, right? There's always risk depending on where it is. But I think when you give it to a company and you have, say, okay, let's just take it for example, another perspective, right? I have $100,000 of $1 million or $5 million company doing that programming for me.
Yeah.
Their risk is a lot less than me as a person doing it myself.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
So regardless of it, the risk is actually given away to someone else.
Okay.
The risk I take is in running the business itself.
Yeah.
Operational. I take the risk of building up that space and doing everything. So that risk is still there, right? Depending on no matter if I start up my own or someone else does it, right?
Yeah. But I think it's very, how to say, noble of you. I think a lot of people who are very technical or creative or like very good at like a certain thing,
Correct.
they would want to be the one to do the thing. But like how I feel I think something that I learned from like the past how long it is 40 minutes is like from you is that it's very interesting that as a creative person and artisan in like your own craft, you're willing to give a functional amount of that up to someone else to govern, and you think about the longevity of the business, think about like key man risk so that you don't become like the key man, and you want like the community to go on. Like what makes you get past that thing, right? Like for example, if I do music, I would think like I want to be the one to sing, kind of thing. But like for you, it's like it seems like you really took that part, which is usually what most people hold very dear, and then you just say, okay, I let go and I let someone else do it.
I mean, I wish it was as noble as but I think it came more of a sense of insecurity rather than from like a very strategic kind of like perspective right? I think my flaw and what I've been told about myself, or like what I personally reflect about myself, is that I'm not a very I'm very self-conscious, and I'm very afraid of of failing, right? And so because of that, like I'm always more open to listening to somebody whom I feel like I respect, or I feel like they're out there for advice and for their inputs and everything. So I've always let with that insecurity of like, oh, maybe what if I can't do it, right? Or like, or what if like I think, and then I kind of like offset it to someone else and say, can you help me with this, or can you help me with that? And that's how I've always kind of like thought of how things run. So when it came to running a business and then come to the Fitstop, it made me realize this whole ideology kind of like translated into something that I realized that, oh, okay, you know what, I should have never been doing it all by myself. I should be actively not just asking but making someone else do it, right? And if I can essentially make everybody do give all the parts which people are good at to different people, then the business will thrive, right? Regardless of whether or not like I feel like I'm good at it,
But how then do you make? Because it's I won't say it's easy. For me, it's very hard to delegate things because I like to do. I feel like other people not good enough, so I do it myself. But like, how is it then? But I also see the other side of the coin, which is like if you delegate everything, then how do you work with so many people? And how do you keep them happy? And how do you keep them motivated?
Right? It's tough lah, bro. I struggle with this every time lah. I feel like it's something that as young entrepreneurs ourselves, it's very easy to fall into a trap of like, oh, I think I can do everything and save the money, and then be completely overwhelmed with all that, right? And I feel like the skill set which I learned from my very brilliant friends or my very brilliant bosses are that the ability to delegate work and manage is much more important than doing the work. Because if you can find the right person to do the work, the work is the problem is solved itself, right? You don't have to worry that much. The problem is that finding the right person, teaching that person to do it the way you want it, and also it's a process and always a process of learning how to work with somebody. People are always variables, right? So
and how do you even get like people who are good at one thing to work with other people who are good at other thing, and then build the whole system, right? I mean that kind of is like entrepreneurship, but
correct.
Like it's almost like an art.
Correct. Yeah, and then like I said, it's a learning process, right? I think with everything you do, I do think that you need to practice and you need to sort of like slowly see and reflect and like kind of like understand, okay, how you could do things better, what are your own flaws, and if you take ego aside, right, what is the problem? Are you the problem in this whole situation, right? Like for example, if you have an event, correct? If you don't delegate, you become the problem because you can't have eyes everywhere, correct? True. You you are holding everybody's progress up because if everyone needs to go through you're only one mouth, one eyes, right? Then the person is like, oh, can I start? Can I go this? Like wedding like that, right? Like, oh, can the food come out already? Can the person plan
the Brazila over there? Go.
Then
you
become the choke point in the whole situation, right?
True.
Yeah, I think there needs to be some level of self-reflection and taking your ego aside and like, okay, at what point do I become the problem in this situation? And I think with running a business, it's never a one-person job, there are many people and many parts to it, to getting something successfully done. I think if we can, it's hard to get everyone to work together, and it's hard to get to understand and know what is good. But it doesn't mean that we shouldn't try to delegate that. It should always be a process like, oh, okay, let's try this. Or you cannot do it, okay, let's try something else. Or you still cannot do this, okay, let's give you this other thing and work with this person. Maybe this will be the problem. And, eventually you'll stick. And then once everything kind of falls into place, that's where you see the business kind of thrive.
Did it come naturally to you? Like,
no man, dude. Yeah, I'm a solo kid. I play badminton. I play all these solo sports. I don't ever work in a team, right? And I think my biggest flaw and my biggest thing is that I also find it very hard to delegate because I have a very fixed mindset and a fixed idea of how I see certain things. And when I was in civil service, I saw it and I just kept quiet. Okay. I was like, okay, I see, this is my idea, I just kept quiet. Now that I run a business, I get the opportunity to have the loudspeaker and say, okay, do this, do that, do this.
Yeah.
Then I realized that, okay, there is a time to stay quiet as well and just give people the work to do.
What was that? What is that?
That switch.
Switch, yeah.
That switch is when you quarrel. No, when you have after AR, then you're like, hey, what is that? Hey, what is that? Then you say, okay lah. So are you the problem? Are you the problem?
My wife always tell me this. So it's like everything goes through you. Then now only you know everything. Yeah. Then now becomes your problem. You're busy. Then nothing gonna happen.
Correct.
Like, yeah.
But I must say, my wife is the one that also been telling me that you need to delegate. So I mean, maybe the answer is to get married.
Get married, yeah. Get married to a wife that can scold you.
I think, I won't consider myself in any aspect a successful entrepreneur or anything, but I would say that learning process of like starting a business, the first stage is always about learning to delegate and receding control, right? And the faster you learn that, the faster you learn to manage that, I think the faster the business can grow. Yeah.
And how do you, I mean, now practically speaking about like delegation, how do you manage your costs, right? Because it's like, now if I start a business, I can't just go and hire 5 guys right now, right, to do it. How do you manage that?
I don't. I get someone to do it. No, I get you, man. It's definitely an issue, lah. Like I if I own the money in the world, then you just want to hire as many people as you can, right? Yeah. But I think that's why in Fitstop's perspective, what I always suggest and what I always recommend is that we should slowly start to scale the business, lah. The faster we can scale it, the more we spread the risk, the more each person's role becomes less important, and the cost is spread out, right? And so so that's why I always believe that, if we can open more studio, we should lah. We shouldn't just hold back and keep the money, because the money won't grow. You need to spread the risk out. You need to take out. The more businesses we run, the more people we can hire, the less responsibility one person has over the business, right? Yeah.
That's very, I feel like,
spend money to make money, bro.
I mean, of course, there's a Chinese saying that says like 钱是生钱, it's like money will grow money, but if you don't have money, then
correct.
it's a bit hard.
Correct. It's hard lah. It's hard. Running a business is hard lah. I would say that the key takeaway for me is that it's always a constant learning process, right? Yeah. So not all businesses will do well, but they are all important because they help you to grow. Yeah.
Would you ever go back to being an employee?
I thought about it, and I at some level, sometimes I close my eyes like, I wish I don't have to
I do the same
think about all this anymore. I wish I can just sit there and do it and then close my laptop and go home and sleep.
Yeah.
But I do believe that it's okay. I just had this conversation with Kelly the other day, and I said that with anything you do in life, right, the end goal is really not the what you want. Meaning it's the process, and doing that process is where the enjoyment comes from, right? If you for example, if you go to High Rocks, you never train. Then you just go and run and go and do
That's
it.
me?
Then you finish it, but what's the point? What do you get out of it?
I got a patch.
You get a patch, but you also get like, the satisfaction isn't there lah. The patch isn't deserved, right?
Correct, yeah.
It's that whole process of training, of pulling yourself out a bit to go and run, and pulling yourself out a bit in the early morning or late in the night to go and do one long run or one interval, which is fucking like serious about it, and then through that, at the end of it, you get the end goal, right? So it's that process that you have to learn to enjoy lah.
Yeah. Would you say that if someone don't enjoy the process of like doing a business or like High Rocks, like, I mean the same analogy, right? If like they don't enjoy the building, they don't enjoy the every part of like doing a business, they shouldn't.
You do what you want to do. I would say that I learned a lot from this last 3 years of like just focusing on running a business, and my growth as a person and as has gotten a lot, as I've grown a lot in the last 3 years, like because of this process. I would say that I wouldn't have gotten this growth if I didn't get the opportunity to run the business. Like if I had just stayed as an employee, my mindset and my ideas and my thinking would have still been an employee's mindset. I wouldn't think of like, oh, how do I make things better, or how do I solve an issue. I would be like, okay, I can't solve it, maybe my boss can solve it for me, or maybe I can pass it on to somebody to deal with it. I don't have to deal with it. So that growth was something that I really feel that you comes with the challenge of running a business. Yeah.
And do you think like most people should do it, or do you think it's more like if it's up to you, you want to try, if don't do, it's fine?
Let's just say if I were to have a kid, I would highly encourage them to
do it
to start their own thing, and I will try to support them in that way lah. Yeah. But I wouldn't say that it's for everybody. I also wouldn't say that it is easy. I also wouldn't say that you will get the same kind of like growth as I did. But I would say, as for my own anecdotal perspective, is that, you know, there are things to learn from this, and I feel like you can only get it from challenging yourself this way.
That's cool, man.
Yeah.
Thanks so much for coming down, man. I think it's amazing that like we always have like conversations at like our Fit Expo or like even at Fitstop and all, but like going really deep into like understanding how you thought about it. I think I really learned a lot of like the self-awareness and like the delegation and all that is really very valuable. I think a lot of people
appreciate for having me, man. I think, like, you know, as with your podcasting, this podcast, it's given me like a new perspective as well. Like, I think podcasting and like doing this kind of like stuff is a lot of times we don't have this kind of detailed like conversations in with people anymore, right? We just meet for dinner.
Hello.
Hey, hello. How's your work? How's your day?
having kids, no kids, no.
Oh yeah. Oh, your kid get issue.
Get dog. Oh, how's your dog?
Correct. Yeah, but I truly think that podcasting, or like just sitting down with the purpose of having a conversation, being very deliberate about having a conversation about something, is what, you know, is lacking in a lot of people's lives.
And like, I feel like for me, having a time to just sit down and D&D my phone, and then talk to someone and really listen and really try to gather something, and like, you know, sometimes I get interrogated also. But like,
Hey, I try to ask you a question, you don't answer me. Right?
what question you ask me?
But yeah, let's do this more often. And I'm happy to come on as a guest. And also talk more fitness related things if everyone want. My interest is in creative work and in fitness.
And can tell. I mean,
and maybe people don't realize it anymore, but I also love to talk politics and sociology.
Oh, really?
Sociology, because
cool.
I was a sociology, like I was hardcore sociology person.
I see.
And my dad was also a civil servant. So when I was growing up, talking politics and like and global issues was something that I always do it at home lah. So this is something
I love to talk about global issues.
Oh dear.
Maybe I'll get you on the next pod.
We rename this as the Joe Rogan Singapore version.
So thank you so much for watching this episode. If you like this episode, please like, comment and subscribe, and I'll see you in the next one.
Thanks guys. Yeah.